John here with Elton's Retirement Journey and Travels. Welcome to my channel and so glad to have you here. So I want to welcome everybody who is signed up and joined the channel. And so we picked up about 30 new subscribers and I had did a video short convenience store clerk to retiree in 20 years. So what I wanted to do is introduce myself again and go over a couple parts of it. I'm going to break it down into segments. So my name is John Elton. I moved down here in 2005 from Detroit. I felt the need to get out of Detroit because of all the crime, the negativity, and I wanted to get started and get myself settled someplace that I would be happy with. At that time, I made the decision that after I qualified for my pension at the hospital, I worked in desktop support, supporting computers. I've been doing that since 1982. I've held a total of 6 jobs for 5 years or more. So in the 40 years I've been working, that takes up about 30. The rest of the jobs are either 8 months, year and a half, 3 years, 4 months. I only had 2 years where I was not actively working. So I'm happy about that. So what I did was I made up my mind I was going to move somewhere where there's palm trees. My sister bought a house in Middle Georgia, which is Macon, right dead smack down 75 headed towards Florida. And at that time, she had some furniture that was given to her. She wanted us to drive it down there. So we got it all hitched up to her vehicle, got a hitch put on there. And I drove down there with my nephew. And I think my nephew left and went back. We dropped the trailer off, and I drove the vehicle back to Detroit. But I had already resigned from my position at the hospital. I didn't like how things were going, and I wanted to get out of Detroit. So what I did was I took the retirement plan, the 401k, and I took the whole distribution. I wound up paying a 10% penalty. I was responsible for the taxes, and it allowed me to shore up things back at the family home, which I lived in by myself, and I went ahead and moved down there. Now, during that time, I had some credit card debt, and then my Honda, I'm sorry, the Dodge Neon, the water pump blew up on the way down there, so I had to get that fixed, and that was about $767. And I later wrecked that car and wound up having to replace it, but that was something I probably don't want to get into. But anyway, so I went ahead and got me a job offer down there for, believe it or not, E-Trade at 12 bucks an hour. Further down south, where they grow all the crops, in a place called Maracus, Georgia. It was in kind of like a warehouse. They had cubicles, and I was going to do an overnight shift for 12 bucks an hour. I just did not feel that was enough, and I declined that position. But I went ahead and got a job in a convenience store at $6.45 an hour with the intentions of working Friday overnight, Saturday overnight, and Sunday overnight, and to allow me to look for a full-time job, which I went on a few interviews. And I had always planned on keeping that part-time job because the wages were a little bit different. Apartments, you can get apartment down there for about 350, which is and have your own place. So my sister was going to charge me 350 to stay in the house that she bought down there and just have a little room and all these other responsibilities. So I wound up moving up to Atlanta, Georgia, and I continued to work those part-time jobs. I went into sports and entertainment at the old Georgia Dome with a company called Contemporary Staffing Services, CSC. Those are the guys in the football games you see with the yellow shirts on. And I worked there for a number of years, earning the part-time money. And I did a couple other withdrawals from my retirement plan. So all together, including um, keeping myself whole, I took out about somewhere around about $25,000 with the first $17,000, and then I had a retirement plan, a IRA that was a rollover. I withdrew from that about seven, and I took this money out with the intentions over the next 20 some years of replenishing. I was going to do something like 3 grand, but that's how I got down here and I got started working. And what I did was when I got to Atlanta, I had to determine what was the minimum salary I could take. And that's where the budget came in. So I moved into an apartment in East Point, Georgia, and I think I moved in at $500 a month. And I think I had a security deposit of 350, and I didn't even have a job. And I talked to the young lady, and she said, "No problem. I'm sure in your with your skill set that you'll get a job." And so I moved in there. So I knew I had that, and by then I had got my car replaced, and I've got a feeling of what the expenses were going to be for the gas, the electric. At that time, we didn't have to pay for the water bill and car insurance and fuel. And I tallied it up in a spreadsheet, and then I added I just went something with 28% taxes, and I came out with 35,000 was the minimum. And I applied for a position in a recycling company that was also in East Point, Georgia, and I got interviewed there. And the first time I went, I went after hours and I didn't even know where to go or anything. So I said, I probably screwed this up. But I explained to the manager and went in and had that interview. And, he asked me what kind of salary was I looking for. I was like 35,000 minimum. Well, that's what I'll pay you. So I got that job. And that was right before Christmas of 2006. So I finished off 2006 and I went into 2007 with a full-time job and benefits. And their match on the 401k was about 50% of the first 2%. It works out to something ridiculous, like about $500. It wasn't much, but because I had that $35,000 salary, I only put in maybe about 7%. Whatever the numbers worked out to, it's about 225 a month, and it worked out to about 3,000 plus their match per year, and that's all I put in. So that's how I got started down here. Once I got my foot in the door, I kept that job up, and what I wanted to do is because I was talking about how important the budget is, I want to bring you forward to me being retired. I retired from Morgan Stanley a couple months ago, September 26th, and having that budget was critical. And we're going to go over the budget, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing with the part-time job. So you're with John Elton, and this is Elton's Retirement Journey and Travel. And we are just talking about my travel journey. And I just wanted to bring this up because we did get a lot of views, a lot of likes on that scenario. And I just wanted to tell you how I did it because some of you are going to be trying to do the same thing. And you may need to be in a position where you need to know how much is it costing to keep you whole and how much you need to put away and how much it's going to cost you to live in case something tragic happens. So this is the budget spreadsheet that I use, and it is broken down into the monthly cost. I got my mortgage at 605. I add an extra $100. The HOA fee is 355.95. They've been fixing a lot of stuff around here. I know people hate that. This is my average cost of the gas. Now it's going to start going up because I've been turning the heat on. But by the time March rolls around, that's going to drop back down to 47.35. I'm on the budget plan for electricity at $54. Cable includes the high speed internet is it actually exceeds what my router capability is. I hope to get that down. That went up by about $28 in year 2025. My contract ends in May. My cell phone is at 37.35. That's bundled in with Xfinity. So I'm at $120 in groceries. One day I'll show you my grocery haul. There's certain things that I eat that's easy for me to cook, and I am the people who know me know I throw out a few dishes that a bachelor can make, and the other food that I might eat that just comes out of discretionary. My auto insurance runs about $80 every month. I pay that up every 6 months, and I did go through the safe AARP safe drivers to get that discount. Fuel on my Honda that I own now is about $30 every 2 weeks. So that's $60 a month. My medicine that I take is probably going to run about $25. This insurance here that I carry is with UMA. That's for critical illness like cancer or accidental injury and stuff. And I was able to get my hair cut as of yesterday. This is a fresh cut. I went to the pro shop, and it's near where my side hustle is. I only pay $11, and that includes a tip. So unless I have some kind of special engagement like a date or something, my original barber, which normally costs $30, he won't be seeing too much of me. I've got the health care with Delta Dental. I've got Netflix and NordVPN. I think NordVPN is discontinuing my membership. Anyway, the monthly total here is just under $1,600. This is the cost for 90 days. So I would need just $4,700 for my rainy day fund. And this is what it's costing me yearly. So now that I'm retired, it's a little bit easier. All I got to do is at the start of the year deposit in $20,000, and I will be able to cover all of these expenses with no issues. I've got the mortgage on reoccurring. I've got this on reoccurring the first of the month, so I don't even have to worry about it in case I'm out of the country. And these are my other bills that must be paid. The rental, the auto insurance rather, right here, excuse me here. I just pay that up front whenever it's due because it's all bundled in to the 20,000. So when I knew that I was going to be retiring and I left the firm, I knew exactly how much my costs were. And if we take a look over here, let's go with this budget. Everything in yellow, this is December. So let's take a look at December real quick. Everything that has a dash in it has now been debited from my account. The 355 that's getting paid right now. The $60 in this fuel, that is going to come from my side hustle. And there was enough extra cash in there to pay these other ones. So I'm at 1,066. And I think I've got a medical bill. Let's just say they haven't billed me. So let's get rid of that. Here I'm coming in 479. I actually have $545 that automatically gets transferred on the 15th of the month to allow me to pay these bills. Just like when I was working. Instead, I'm getting the minimum amount. And this here is what it costs me to live, 24,000. This 3,000 and the 1,000, that's what I was putting away. So you subtract that from the 24,000, we get down to 20. Over here, we have medical expenses that I had to pay out of pocket. My 20%. So we subtract that away, and that gets you to about 19,000. So that is how I'm living. And if you're able to put together a spreadsheet like this, you're going to know what your expenses are. So if you ever get let go from a job, you know what the bare minimum that you're going to have. So if we add this up, it doesn't even come up to 1,600 a month. It's a little bit less, which is good. And that's how I'm making it. And we're going to carry this in to 2026. So let's see if we can close up and bring up the budget from 2026 if I can find it. Here's your retirement budget. We're going to bring that up. And this is what I'm looking like when I go into 2020 January. So this is it right here. And it's going to carry on and be the same. Okay. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and end that and come back. We'll talk about the part-time job. Just go ahead and clear up a little error that I made when we were going through the line items. I got down to the health club dues, and that is with LA Fitness. It has nothing to do with MetLife. MetLife take along for seniors. I went ahead and paid that up so that I can continue to get my dental checkups, my teeth cleaned, and get started. I won't be able to get a crown done until I've held that for 1 year. It was about 500 and some dollar, 534. And I actually called my dentist and made sure that they had me on file. I got my group number and my ID, and I applied that um, to the girls down there so that when I go in on the 15th, I think it's the 16th of December, I'm going in for a dental cleaning, the x-rays, the bite wings, and the doctor will come look at my teeth. I expect to have a good bill of health. So I just paid that up front for a whole year. Um, and that way I have the dental. Now, I'll go ahead and talk about the ACA another day, but I am with Oscar Healthcare. That's how I got my medicine for the upper respiratory. And this week I went in and got a full physical with the EKG, the blood work, and I'm proud to tell you that my A1C is at 6.6, down from 7.6 for over a year. But moving forward, so I can get this wrapped up. So the importance to having that part-time job. So I work down at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I work one event, and I'm going to work the Georgia Bulldogs Alabama SEC Championship, and that will close out that pay period. Then I have a total of two other events the remainder of December, and that should generate about $350, maybe $400 in part-time income for me. This is going to be December 15th, and then the last day of December. And so that having that part-time job allows me to go to all the major events. And if you're the type of person you feel you could use some extra bucks, I'm going to tell you, if you like baseball, they're going to have opportunities starting in April when baseball season opens up. You either can do parking, you can do the security, you can do the ushering at the stadium, or you can work for levies at food and beverage. The best areas to get a job at are going to be within the suites. So if you're checking tickets and you're inside the suites, you won't have to deal with all that bad weather with baseball. And baseball has a tendency to have 4 to 5 games a week when they're in town, and that'll give you a chance to make some extra money part-time. That's what I'm doing. That's the event staffing. It's real easy. You'll be on your feet for a long time, but there's a lot of great people down there, and there's different areas that you can work at, and you can go to one or more venues. Now, here in Atlanta, in 2028, they're going to have a women's team here in Atlanta. So that's going to allow me down the road to work more events as a part-time employee. And as like I said, tomorrow I roll out at 10:30. I'll be down there all day. I'll get the chance to see Georgia versus Alabama. And that's the importance of having a part-time job. I've had it, and now that I'm in retirement, it's very useful. I don't have to go out looking for another job. And that extra money that's coming in, there's twofold. So I made a deposit on a trip over to Asia with G Adventures. I took advantage of the cyber sale. So I got my discount, and I owe $350 on a credit card. So that part-time money coming in, if I don't need it, I'll go ahead and pay that off. And then future earnings, when I pull out the money and finance myself for next year, I'll have cash available with the residual for the last 3 months. I retired in September 26th, October, November, December. I'll be able to pay off the rest of the trip and use my side hustle to come up with the euros I need, and then the Asian baht when I go into Asia for next year. So that's the importance of a part-time job. Um, if you're in a college town, you can go there and talk with those folks and see if you can get on doing event staffing at the college basketball games, the NBA games, the football. There was a time that I had four of these part-time jobs and private security, and I earned about $8,000. That part-time money comes in handy. I'm going to be vegging out today. This is Friday, and then I work all day tomorrow. And as a season ticket holders, I will see the Falcons. They'll probably get their butt kicked. We've lost a lot of games with the team that had the last possession. So we're in a rebuild year, but they're still fun to watch because we got a lot of good young talent. So that is it. This is the segment on convenience store worker to retire me, the first portion of it. And I do believe when we come back, we're going to start talking about the purchase of my vehicle, which is very old and still running good. And then we're going to break down the home purchase. I'm going to tell you how I went and got a super 1.75% mortgage with no PMI and how I'm paying that down. So we're going to break down each segment of the convenience store worker to retiree so that you can have a better idea how I do things and incorporate some of this stuff in your life so that when it's you get the tap on the shoulder, you'll be ready to go too. My name is John, and you are with me at Elton's Retirement.